And then you kept doing these bars and other venues and different events.
Yeah, the live shows with hip hop evolved into parties. The early 2000s were the nightlife changed in New York a lot. It went into like bottle service and like, you know, um, no Tim's at the clubs. Like, so I made
Yeah,
a lot of money in college that way, like basically
which was
selling
so weird. That
tables.
was such a weird era. It happens where like I still have friends that are like when I tell them like, yo, we're going out, they're like, what's the dress code? And I'm like, what do you mean? What's the
That's
dress code? There
PTSD.
is no dress code, fam. Like you're an adult, fam. Like you can come dress however the fuck you want to. Like there was this era where we were, I mean, it was also right. It was the era of the disrespect. So we were being disrespected at places, and we allowed for this disrespect. You know what I'm saying? And like it was just a different era, and it like places could set these like stupid rules, but like
I mean,
nowadays it's like
I
that that
remember there
that
was
can't
a
happen.
time when I would do parties and first approach a manager or an owner, and we'd have to like, it's an urban professional crowd, like see how they
Right.
felt about that. What kind of music, everything, like we just wouldn't let them be like, oh, whoa, 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 no hoodies, no, like, and get into that whole shit. If we were like, it's hip hop and reggae. No, fuck it. It's everything. We're playing all types of music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now what?
New York had an ugly like that was from what like I would say like what like late
2000,
'90s to like 2005.
I think so.
That's
Maybe
wild.
earlier, like 2004, and then it cooled off, you know?
Yeah, nah, that shit's not popping now. I walk into all the fancy restaurants, like however the fuck I
Yeah.
want to. Like sometimes, yeah, I'll look, like, yo, you know, is that is did this guy come from work? He couldn't have came from work in that tux. Like, what are you doing in a tux? Like, but then sometimes it's like this, and it's like, yo, my hoodie, but like what am I wearing? Like I'm probably wearing more expensive shit in my hoodie and my sneakers than I am in a suit. You know what I'm saying? Or tux. And so like um it's just silly and it was stupid as fuck that like ever was a thing. Like and it's crazy that we do have PTSD and there are people that I know that still hit me with the I can tell that they don't go out much when they do that shit. I'm just like I guess I'm taking the old man out tonight. You know what I mean? But like I'm just like, yo, how did that ever happen? How did that ever exist? Like that was so
I made
crazy.
a lot of
But it was
money.
the again, right? It was the era of disrespect. Like, yo, it wasn't even just like women were treated literally like, yeah. It was like, yeah, and you're gonna take it and you're gonna like it. And like women, and there were like women out here like, yeah, girl, you gotta take it. You gotta like it. It was just like, what crazy twilight zone are we all living in? You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's not even
um,
like as much as like it sounds like it's so
so
long
good
ago.
that
It's
that's
not
over.
even that long ago.
It's
Like
not
that was
long
my high
ago. It's
school.
not long
That
ago
was
at
my
all.
high school life.
Yeah, not long ago at all. Not long ago at all.
Nah,
At all. Like
and
we're just turning a corner, and I think that like we're all fooled by the fact that it's like just because like you and your friends are progressive does not mean that the rest of the world is. You know what I mean? Like, don't forget that like most people do not care for changing anything, and like are
nah, I mean
definitely like
like
nah,
they
like
like flat out banned hip hop in a bunch of places in Montreal for a minute, like in the 2010s. Like just no hip
yeah.
hop performance. There was some shootings and that shit just got
And they
Yeah, I mean,
the genre.
at like hip hop shows.
Like hip hop shows were banned from like there's a giant like part of the city known as the West Island. There weren't a lot of bars in that part of it, but it's like a huge part of the city. And like nah, they just banned it for years. Like no hip hop at all. If you were
I mean, the community allowed that. Like
it
nobody
was
fought back.
like at
I
a
mean,
it was at like a police enforcement like level. Like if I'm not mistaken, like it was like newspaper articles. You can Google that shit. Like it's like that like easy to find, and it's not across everywhere,
It's
but
like
like there were like
Footloose.
it was like venues were banning
I
hip
mean,
hop, and then I found this
I
video
mean
of all
that
these
still happens
rappers
in New York,
protesting
right?
and shit, and it was like a real. It's sometimes a struggle actually to get the venue spot if they know your hip hop still to this day.
I mean, listen, that is literally still a
Just tell
story in
them
New
you're
York
playing
City right
everything.
now. Why? That's why Smack and URL teamed up with Caffeine, and they throw all their events on the West Coast because it's just not a problem. And here in the city, you know what I mean? The venues are like really like a hip hop event. Like what? Like you need to give me X amount of the bar up front, and I need, like it's crazy. Like the amount of like ask is like, yo, you want us to not throw this event. I see what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, but still, it's like I guess better now. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to sell.
I mean,
Now it's really like nobody knows. I don't think anyone knows a lot about what the live scene's gonna look like in Montreal or in a lot of places.
Are you guys
I think
like
things
up
are
and
changing.
running again?
Yo, like as of like fucking this, like 2 weeks ago, they killed the Vax passport. So yeah, I went to a show last weekend and was jumping with a bunch of 20-year-olds, and then like I'm going to 2 shows this weekend, and so like that, there's there's so many events. I couldn't go to everything I wanted to go to. Like my homeboy couldn't come with me on Saturday because he was at the next event, and they're all the little ones too. We're not like saying festival shits, which are also coming because Just for Laughs is all of it. It's like
It's opening back up.
it's like COVID
This
ended.
summer's gonna be crazy in New York
It's
too.
it's gonna be late. It's gonna be like I'm not home a lot.
Man, well, let's make money.
That's it. It's the other side. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
That sounded. That's like
Let's go live. Let's take this
that
show live.
sounded. That's a bar,
No,
by the way.
absolutely. That's like, yo, I mean, you say that, but like, I'm already trying to like find somewhere. I mean, I haven't put a lot of effort in yet, but the second I can find a venue person I like, I'm like, yo, like, cause I do a version of this just on my own, and there's a bunch of Montreal rappers and shit. I'm like, let's just fucking do it in bars and then stream the bar. And like,
Let's do it.
I don't know how to do it between
Yes.
us because we in different cities, but like, maybe we get 2 bars and make it. I don't know. We'll be creative with it.
That this is the time. It's like what I noticed during lockdown and COVID is that, I think artists or creatives are used to having to, I don't want to say struggle because words have a lot of power and that makes it seem like too hard, but are used to adversity, right? They're used to having to figure things out. So
Hmm.
with COVID, I saw a lot of my peers and a lot of people that I don't know, but creatives figuring out how to pivot, how to
Hmm.
continue doing and creating with what, you know, they're facing at the moment. And I think some people created really dynamic things like the Versus organization with those that started with Raekwon and not Raekwon, RZA and Primo. That first night, that show saved my life that week. And look at what it's become.
Mm.
So I think these are the times where um if you're lucky, there's a spark and new things are created, technologically, creatively, in all ways, you know. So like
Yeah, I
think of
think
the
that this
show
is
and
a good
we're talking
example.
about exactly, you
Yeah,
know.
and
Hmm.
this what's really cool about
Great example.
the COVID times, I would say, is a lot of us be working with people that don't live in the same city because frankly, what's the difference between Montreal, New York, or Montreal next neighborhood when we're doing it on Zoom anyway? And like, yo, the it forced me to do Zoom interviews, which made me go to Twitch and shit because I couldn't have anybody in my crib, and yeah, we had like quarantines and lockdowns and curfews. Like we had a curfew. That would be like for like 6 months in the first winter. It was like fucking serious up here. So like we adapted, and I discovered streaming's dope, and you could monetize creating music. I was like, I didn't know. I would never have learned you could monetize music creation if I had not come to the part of like the streaming world and getting ingratiated in that. But this just links up so much with the IRL world, which I don't have a lot of experience in, but there's so many people that do. So now we can, you know, link these two worlds together, because I think a lot of us also now just have fans that don't live in our city in ways we never had to deal with before.
Well, I've loved watching how, you know, EO Dub has this international community, but it seems like this is the first time we've been able to step outside that one weekend a year where everybody from the family gets together in a city. And now there's this regular interaction with people like you, Holden, or Carrie on Sunday, who's in Paris. And it gives us an opportunity to commune and to exchange and participate with each other regularly. I think it's wonderful and it's dynamic, and I think that it's brought the dub closer together, and it's widened audiences, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
And actually, speaking of the dub, let's go back to you getting involved with the dub. Like, you went to the first show you said ever at the dub through at the place that's before the pyramid.
Baby Jupiter, yeah.
And
YOB.
And so, did you like go to the dub again after that? Did it become like more something you attended?
Regularly.
So you're
no,
like,
I was there every Sunday. I was there every Sunday, like literally every Sunday. And then
and so hold on real quick. So you were there every Sunday, and you were there as just a fan.
Yeah.
Like, you were just there to support because you were like, this is fantastic, this is wonderful, I love the energy here. So I'm just coming here to support.
Yes.
And how long did that last before you maybe got involved with helping a particular artist or helping the overall like brand with the dub?
I've only been working formally with the dub. It'll be a year in June or May. Prior to that, like, these were my friends, you know, like this was family. It wasn't, I never was like, yo, the dub is fucking awesome, I gotta work with them. It was like my living room at any given Sunday. And then the friendship that I built with Vice and Ox, I helped Vice with his own projects, but never directly with EO Dub. I never helped them book anything, organize anything. You know, we're
I mean, I could, if you want to, like, I could speak to like the kind of help that you give, right? Because you helped me, you helped us with like Littyyy Bros Volume 3, right? So like before we were hanging out and you had decided that you wanted to like bring your Miss B Shelly energy into, right, my stratosphere and what I was doing, right? Like, I didn't have a plan for essentially what this year was gonna be, right? I had what I put out in the last couple of years, which is we met when we were working on Volume 1, but Volume 2 was already in the pocket, so that was last year. You know what I mean? So it's like, it seems like a long time, but it's like, yo, I planned it, I knew it. You know what I mean? But I didn't know necessarily what I was going to be doing with Volume 3 until like Shelly got involved and she was like, yo, I love Super Spick. We need to put this back out. We need to put this whole thing out. And so like, I only celebrated it last year that passed, because of that. You know what I'm saying? That led me on to doing the like, where I was just like, you know what, like, I don't want to do Super Spick again, but I definitely needed to be doing like Latin sounds. Like, I needed to be fucking with wild Latin sounds that I hadn't been doing. Like, for like, since the Adventures of Super Spick, I put that shit to the side and I was like, I am not giving people what they want. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to rap over whatever the fuck it is that I want, but it ain't going to be that. Say that much, you know? And and when you came in, right, and you was giving suggestions, I was just like, all that shit is Muse shit. That it's just like, yo, there's no quantification. There's not even a title for that shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally just help out of the goodness of your heart, right? because it's not like, yo, I need to manage it so that like I can get a percent of, you know what I mean, the profits. When it's not even that. It's literally just like, yo, I just think, you know, this is awesome, and what you did with this is awesome. Next thing you know, that's inspiring what's about to come out in a couple, like maybe like a month or so, couple
Wait till
weeks.
June, because it's the 65th anniversary of the National Puerto Rican Day Parade, and they've been gone for 2 years. Drop it on that day.
You know what? Might end up holding it for a little while longer. Might end up holding it for a little while longer. But yeah, the point is, this is what you do, right? Like this is a perfect example
So
of
you just know
like
things.
what.
I mean, how could I be like, yeah, I just do.
That was
feel
just
like an
like
asshole
you
saying
knew
that.
something and you applied what you knew to the circumstances, and it was like that was like you're in the know, you know shit, and not like
Matter of fact, you know
everything.
what? Let me put a further punctuation on it, right? To wrap it up even nicer, right? It turned me around. Volume 3 is like all Latin sound. We're working on volume 4 that's not no Latin sounds. It's like some funky shit and some house shit and some retro shit. But I already decided in my head that I was like, yo, after that, I'm coming back to the Latin sound and I'm not leaving. Like I'm coming back to it. I'm just staying on it. And this is just gonna be my sound because nobody's really like playing this spot. And I was just like, and I really just like, enjoyed the way it the sound. There's also wide ranging like sound, like palette, you know, like it's like a lot of different types of sounds. Like some of it is fucking Brazil funk, which is like we're literally talking about like music that's popping in Brazil type shit. You know what I mean? And like some of it's Latin trap, and then some of it's reggaeton, some of it's like some like regular old boom bap hip hop, but with the fucking uh dope ass Latin sample in the shit. You know what I'm saying? But the point is that it's like you could do a lot of ranging shit with that type of sound. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so like it's like literally ended up being the path that I'm going to be taking like deliberately for quite some time. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, yo, yeah, I'll guess that she knows some shit, right? Like you, who the fuck
Or
knows?
it's like at least knowing the right shit to know in the right moments to trigger things.
You know,
Yeah,
I talk on things, and I think that things, I see things. So it's like I ended up being with Jess and Flacco the night that they shot a video, and
the Littyyy
I,
Bro's Redux video.
and I loved it. And then I was like, let me go listen to all his music. And I did. And when I went back, because I knew a Dutch Vega back in the day, you know what I mean? So like there's this whole new stratosphere of music, and you know, things just come to my head and I see them. So I share my ideas. But for me, it's like that's when I know, like that's my gauge, like that's the way I gauge things. Like I could see it in my head.
Mm.
You know, when I feel like I could see something in my head, I'm like, I feel like you just feel something. Like some things don't inspire me, and I don't work on those things. Like I really enjoy being happy. And so I do everything I can to be happy. Like I'm not somebody that's like grind and hustle every day and team no sleep. No, like I like to
Facts,
sleep.
facts. You said
I
that to
like
me
to
when we first
rest.
met.
And like I work hard, not I work smart, not hard, or both. But you know what I mean. So I can't
Yeah, I mean, there's
listen to
no
something I
quantification for
enjoy,
experience.
yeah, and be like, the artist is right here. I gotta tell him what I feel, and like it's up to you to take it or not. And I like I'm appreciative and like humbled that like that inspired a direction for you, but you know, it's not stuff that like I always put my 2 cents in with everybody that I come
Mm.
across. You know, there has to be something that like sparks interest, you know, and that I enjoy.
That makes a lot of sense. That sincerity you were talking about before, because it can't be like not good.